Hey everybody! Hey everybody, this is Kohdok here, and today we're taking a look at an interesting new idea from Bakugan, one that I actually think is pretty cool. What it is this is the Ultra Bakugan Hyper Dragonoid, and while Hyper Dragonoid you might know as one of the evolutions of Dragonoid, in this case it actually has something interesting to it, because while it is clearly modeled after Hyper Dragonoid, as far as the game is concerned, it is considered an Ultra Dragonoid, just the base Ultra Dragonoid with just a new paint job. I love this idea. It's the Evo Bakugan, but it's still considered the base form. Now this is something that I actually really like, because it means that Spin Master can continue to produce new toys as well as solve the potential problem of Bakugan being left behind, because in deck building you need the actual Bakugan toy in order to participate, the actual toy and the actual card. But if they stop making a Bakugan type or else risk oversaturating it, then, you know, that makes that Bakugan harder to find. But if they keep printing the evolutions like this, it means that they can continue to print the base cards and keep them easy to find while also giving us a constant supply of new toys. So this is an idea I absolutely love. Now, apparently this Hyper Dragonoid toy it's not only just a reskin of Ultra Dragonoid, it's also apparently a lot better behaved. So quick look at the side here. We do not have any mark on the side. It comes with Fire Fist and Shield, which should be the 253 and the 650 if it's anything to go with like Ultra Dragonoid here. On the back it says difficulty 2. It comes with an extra wings. The actual image on the back here, it looks pretty similar to what we get in the box. I know there are some that look completely different. Some of the diamonds don't look so good, and Pyravian looks totally different. But, you know, same old thing, makes better use of space than usual. We have the Darkest Weapon down there, Hydronoid and Vicerox Ultra. I still need to figure out how to get my hands on those. But for now, let's get this thing open. As I suspected, the contents are indeed practically identical to that of Dragonoid Ultra. It comes with the Dragonoid Ultra character card, the plus 650 Magic Shield, and the plus 250 plus 3 Fire Fist. These two are considered among the best cores, if not the best cores, to put in either of those decks. I would say that in certain aggro decks, the plus 5 Fire Fist has a better presence, or the minus 500 Shield has a better presence, but either way, these are the best cores in the game, and on a 505, that's really good. Now, on the original Dragonoid Ultra, that was balanced by the fact that Dragonoid Ultra was kind of stubborn on picking up the cores, meaning it couldn't rely on the bonuses. But Hyper Dragonoid Ultra seems to be a little bit different from what I've heard. Speaking of, rather than the other card it came with, it instead comes with the Evo card for Hyper Dragonoid Ultra. You know, I approve. That's good. It comes with the evolution card to show, to really hammer home. It's like, why does it feel like I didn't get the right card in there? But then you get the Dragonoid Ultra, which illustrates what this thing can do. All I can do is hope that they'll maybe do something similar with like Titan Pegatrix or something. I don't know if they're going to do it with any rare characters, although, you know, that would be the perfect thing to make, you know, the perfect thing to make, like make some like fancy sets that come with like the special evos, like if they put out like a Titan Core Dragonoid or like a Titan Trox Ultra card, or to coincide with the very rare cards, like put that in like an expensive set. People would buy those. But moving on, Dragonoid Ultra is really good at a 505 that brings in both a Magic Shield and a Fire Fist. Hyper Dragonoid Ultra is a 2-cost 808, which is not fantastic. I mean, it's not bad. That's one of the things that's really held Dragonoid Ultra back, is that it doesn't really have any spectacular or bombastic Evo cards the way Core Dragonoid does. Anyway, taking a look at Hyper Dragonoid itself. And here we have a close-up of Hyper Dragonoid, only, oops, that's not Hyper Dragonoid. Here's Hyper Dragonoid, and you can tell kind of immediately that there are some pretty striking differences between the normal Ultra Dragonoid, which is here, and the Hyper Dragonoid Ultra. You can see that there's like some additional patterning on this considerably larger tail flap on the Hyper Dragonoid. You can also tell that there's an extra joint in the tail where the Hyper Dragonoid doesn't have one. Otherwise, they are remarkably similar looking, with the same structure, same color palette, although there are a number of other differences going on here. For example, you see this sort of cherry red here, this sort of apple red coming out of the wings on the Dragonoid Ultra, whereas the Hyper Dragonoid instead has the more solid red. It might not be easy to tell on the camera here, but that is because of how the paint is done. In the case of Dragonoid Ultra, it is red paint on top of the orange plastic, whereas in the case of Hyper Dragonoid, they have done orange paint over the red plastic in order to get a more consistent color tone throughout. Not a bad piece of effort there. So far, the Hyper Dragonoid's design has sort of felt like a do-over of Dragonoid Ultra, which is something it definitely needs. Dragonoid Ultra also has these sort of little annoying prongs sticking out of the top here. Might be a bit hard to see on the camera, but if you look at the top here, there's like these little like prongs that like sort of bulge up over here and make it kind of hard to roll forward. Yeah, Hyper Dragonoid does not have those. Hyper Dragonoid has a nice, clean, smooth tire. It still has these foot supports. It still has a lot in common with Hyper Dragonoid, but I can already tell, looks a whole lot nicer. Well, it's still misbehaved a little bit. I guess that's a danger of using the lever types. There's always that risk that they're going to kick the core due to the wild way in which they tend to open up. Anyway, Hyper Dragonoid, or I guess I should call it Hyper Dragonoid Ultra, is very, very similar to the regular Dragonoid Ultra. It's maybe a little bit shorter, although I guess part of that is because we haven't fully transformed it yet. Now, it does have the arms like Dragonoid Ultra, although it has a couple of additional places where it transforms. For instance, these second set of wings here, which just kind of pop up to give it a nice double-winged, more powerful look, and this nice bright green horn which flips out. On the Dragonoid Ultra, the horn is molded on and colored orange. So we have a lot more striking detail on this one, a lot more, a few more spots of green, a few more spots of paint, and of course the double-layered wings, more complicated back, the double-jointed tail. It is very, very much a nice retooling here. So a dilemma here is, the arms have a bit of trouble transforming out. I have to like pry them to the side a little bit. I don't know. I don't like doing that. It feels like I'm gonna break it when I do that. I don't know if there's something I'm missing, but anyway, here is Hyper Dragonoid again compared to Dragonoid Ultra. Has a lot more paint on the face and on the side here, although I'm actually kind of having a bit of a debate as to which version I like more. Dragonoid Ultra does have a generally cleaner appearance, although, again, it has these sorts of candy red wings because they printed it on orange plastic and painted it in the red versus the red painted in orange that we have on the Hyper Dragonoid. That gives it a more consistent color scheme, although then again, like I said in the video on Hyper Dragonoid, I actually kind of liked how it had the candy red look, made it look a bit more like the membranous wings. Anyway, like I said, I like this concept. It looks a little bit smaller, but again, it has more complexity. I like this idea of making figures for the evolutions because it means we'll be able to get the base character cards reprinted consistently while also getting new Bakugan toys to collect. And to me, that just seems generally like a good idea. Both of them have the little green core in the center, although the one on Ultra Dragonoid is larger. This one's been a bit of a mixed bag. I guess it had to be a bit smaller to make room for the stuff like the longer tail and the bigger wings and all of that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very fun retooling. I do like the fact that they have colored in the eyes and the horn this nice bright green that does pop very nicely against everything. It'll be interesting to see if they do this to more Bakugan in the future. I've already seen that some preview images where we have Hyper Dragonoid in Chaos, and I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for that. It means there's also going to be a Dragonoid Ultra in Chaos, but I think this one comes in the Chaos one is going to come in the 3-pack. That's going to be very nice. Anyway, next time you might be seeing some Chaos on this channel. So that is a look at Dragonoid Ultra, and until next time, this is Kohdok signing off.
Bakugan Brawl, it's a big brawl. Bakugan Brawl is for it all. Bakugan Brawl, standing tall, we're the awesome ones. Powers in our hand, take a stand.